How many clients you got?
Oh, we've got about 7 or 8 kind of main clients that we're working with at the moment.
Oh, right, we got 70, 80.
I'm actually on holiday to Tenerife next week. Should be good. Looking forward to that.
Oh, Tenerife's all right. I go to 11 Reef. Oh, digital marketing. God, what about all those people wasting time on Facebook for their business?
Oh, we've actually found that Facebook works really well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Facebook's brilliant for business. That's what I was going to say. And then that happened in '94, and that's an interesting story actually. That's when Steve came on board, and that changed the whole dynamic of my business. And he really brought another dimension. And Anita was there, and she just brought a whole new thing to the business. It was absolutely fantastic, and my business just went through the roof, and it was great. And then we did. You know, networking doesn't work. Tried it once last week, got no business.
Great to meet you, mate. I'll see you sometime soon. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Emmett. I'm just gonna come right out. I have no idea what's going on at all.
My fellow master builders, including but not limited to Superman, Wonder Woman, the Mermaid, Green Ninja, 1980-something Space Guy, Michelangelo, and the 2002 NBA All-Stars. We have learned that Lord Business plans to end the world as we know it. There is yet one hope. The special has arisen.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening.
Everybody, I'm here.
Pac-Man? Awesome! Could you make one of these in orange?
I only work in black, and sometimes very, very dark gray.
Hey, pal, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think you're supposed to be here. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to report you. No, wait up!
என்னம்மா தைலண்ட் போறதுக்கு காசு மாத்த சொன்னேன் மாத்தினீங்களா? ஐயோ என்ன பண்றது? யார மாட்டி விடலாம்? நம்மளுக்கு பிறந்திருக்கே ஒரு பையன், அவன்கிட்ட தான் கொடுத்து மாத்த சொன்னேன். மகனே, என் மகனே இங்க வாடாடி. என்னாச்சு? அப்பா தைலண்டுக்கு காசு மாத்த கொடுத்தாரு, மாத்தினியா? என்னது தைலண்டுக்கு காசா? அப்படி யாரும் சொல்றீங்க? லாயர் சுலோர் ஃபைல் ஒரு வேளை கொடுத்தா ஒழுங்கா தெரியுதுல. நான் வெளியே போயிட்டு வந்துக்குள்ள ஒழுங்கு மரியாதை மாத்தி வைக்கல செருப்பால அடிப்பேன். கது இந்த மக்கள் ஏண்டா மாட்டியா விடுற? டாவா இருடி உனக்கு வைக்கிற ஆப்பு. டேய் நான் உன் அப்பாடா. அப்பா மாதிரியாடா நடந்துக்கிறேன். மிஸ் கிட்ட போட்டு கொடுக்குறேன். அங்க என்ன சத்தம்? இது சும்மா பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம்மா. ப்ளீஸ் ஹெல்ப் மீ. இந்தா இது மெர்ச்சன்ட் ரேட் மணி கார்டு. உன்னோட தான் போன வருஷம் சைன் அப் பண்ணது நினைப்பிருக்கா? இதுல உன் போனோட ஆப்போட லிங்கா இருக்கும். இதுலயே காசு போடலாம், ஃபாரின் கரன்சி எல்லாம் வாங்கலாம், தைலண்ட் பாட்டு இதுலயே வாங்கலாம். வெளியே வாங்குறத விட சீப்பா இருக்கும். விசா டெபிட் கார்டு மாதிரி பாய்க்கலாம். இந்தா பாய்ச்சி தொலை. தேங்க்யூடா பேபிமா. என்ஜாய் பண்ணீங்களா? அங்க என்னென்னலாம் பண்ணீங்க? ஒண்ணு நம்ம சும்மா வேலை விஷயமா தான், வேலை விஷயமா. அம்மா இங்க பாருங்க, அப்பா தைலண்ட்ல பண்ண வேலைய. தாய்லாந்துக்கு வேலை விஷயமா போனேன்னு சொன்னீங்களே, பன்போ மசாஜ் சென்டர்ல 450 பாட்டுக்கு என்னடா வேலை விஷயம்? அது வந்துமா, அதாவது அட பாவி பயல, மாட்டியாடா விடுற. ஆல் டிரான்சாக்ஷன் இஸ் இன் தி மர்ச்சன்ட் ரேட் ஆப். உன்னையெல்லாம் பிறந்தப்பவே கன்னிப்பால் வச்சு கொண்டு இருக்கணும். அட்டாக்.
How many clients you got?
Oh, we've got about 7 or 8 kind of main clients that we're working with at the moment.
Oh, right, we got 70, 80.
I'm actually going on holiday to Tenerife next week. Should be good. Looking forward to that.
Oh, Tenerife's all right. I go to 11 Reef. Oh, digital marketing. God, what about all those people wasting time on Facebook for their business?
Oh, we've actually found that Facebook works really well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Facebook's brilliant for business. That's what I was going to say. And then that happened in '94, and that's an interesting story actually. That's when Steve came on board, and that changed the whole dynamic of my business. And he really brought another dimension. And Anita was there, and she just brought a whole new thing to the business. It was absolutely fantastic, and my business just went through the roof, and it was great. And then we did. You know, networking doesn't work. Tried it once last week, got no business.
Great to meet you, mate. I'll see you sometime soon. Cheers.
How many clients you got?
Oh, we've got about 7 or 8 kind of main clients that we're working with at the moment.
Oh, right, we got 70, 80.
I'm actually going on holiday to Tenerife next week. Should be good. Looking forward to that.
Oh, Tenerife's all right. I go to 11 Reef. Oh, digital marketing. God, what about all those people wasting time on Facebook for their business?
Oh, we've actually found that Facebook works really well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Facebook's brilliant for business. That's what I was going to say. And then that happened in '94, and that's an interesting story actually. That's when Steve came on board, and that changed the whole dynamic of my business. And he really brought another dimension. And Anita was there, and she just brought a whole new thing to the business. It was absolutely fantastic, and my business just went through the roof, and it was great. And then we did. You know, networking doesn't work. Tried it once last week, got no business.
Great to meet you, mate. I'll see you sometime soon. Cheers.
Hello, I'm Emmett. I'm just gonna come right out. I have no idea what's going on at all.
My fellow master builders, including but not limited to Superman, Wonder Woman, the Mermaid, Green Ninja, 1980-something Space Guy, Michelangelo, and the 2002 NBA All-Stars. We have learned that Lord Business plans to end the world as we know it. There is yet one hope. The special has arisen.
I think I got it, but just in case, tell me the whole thing again. I wasn't listening. I'm freaking out!
Relax, everybody. I'm here.
Pac-Man? Awesome! Could you make one of these in orange?
I only work in black, and sometimes very, very dark gray.
Hey, pal, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think you're supposed to be here. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to report you. No, wait up!
என்னம்மா தைலண்ட் போறதுக்கு காசு மாத்த சொன்னேன் மாத்தினீங்களா? ஐயோ என்ன பண்றது? யார மாட்டி விடலாம்? நம்மளுக்கு பிறந்திருக்கே ஒரு பையன், அவன்கிட்ட தான் கொடுத்து மாத்த சொன்னேன். மகனே, என் மகனே இங்க வாடாடி. என்னாச்சு? அப்பா தைலண்டுக்கு காசு மாத்த கொடுத்தாரு, மாத்தினியா? என்னது தைலண்டுக்கு காசா? அப்படி யாரும் சொல்றீங்க? லாயர் சுலோர் ஃபைவ் ஒரு வேளை கொடுத்தா ஒழுங்கா தெரியுதுல. நான் வெளியே போயிட்டு வந்துக்கணும், ஒழுங்கு மரியாதை மாத்தி வைக்கல செருப்பால் அடிப்பேன். கது இந்த பக்கம் ஏண்டா மாட்டியா விடுற? டாவா இருடி உனக்கு வைக்கிறேன் ஆப்பு. டேய் நான் உன் அப்பாடா. அப்பா மாதிரியாடா நடந்துக்கிறேன். மிஸ் கிட்ட போட்டு கொடுக்குறேன். அங்க என்ன சத்தம்? சும்மா பேசிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம்மா. ப்ளீஸ் ஹெல்ப் மீ. இந்தா இது மெர்ச்சன்ட் ட்ரேட் மணி கார்டு. உன்னோட தான் போன வருஷம் சைன் அப் பண்ணது நினைப்பிருக்கா? இதுல உன் போனோட ஆப்போட லிங்கா இருக்கும். இதுலயே காசு போடலாம், ஃபாரின் கரன்சி எல்லாம் வாங்கலாம், தைலண்ட் பாட்டு இதுலயே வாங்கலாம். வெளியே வாங்குறத விட சீப்பா இருக்கும். விசா டெபிட் கார்டு மாரி பாய்க்கலாம். இந்தா பாய்ச்சி தொலை. டாங்கியோட பேபிமா. ஹனி ஐ அம் ஹோம். வெல்கம் பேக் மை டியர். தைலண்ட் ட்ரிப் எப்படி இருந்துச்சு? என்ஜாய் பண்ணீங்களா? அங்க என்னென்னலாம் பண்ணீங்க? ஒண்ணு நம்ம சும்மா வேலை விஷயமா தான். வேலை விஷயமா. அம்மா இங்க பாருங்க, அப்பா தைலண்ட்ல பண்ண வேலைய. தைலண்டுக்கு வேலை விஷயமா போனேன்னு சொன்னீங்களே, பன்போ மசாஜ் சென்டர்ல 450 பாட்டுக்கு என்னடா வேலை விஷயம்? அது வந்துமா அதாவது அட பாவி பயல மாட்டியாடா விடுற ஆல் டிரான்சாக்ஷன் இஸ் இன் தி மர்ச்சன்ட் ட்ரேட் ஆப் உன்னையெல்லாம் பிறந்தப்பவே கன்னிப்பால் வச்சு கொண்டு இருக்கணும் அட்டாக்
Hey,
All
we're
right.
live. Right.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to PopCon's Justlanggar podcast. We are now on Friday night, right? Amien? Friday night, yes, definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
Our
But moving
second
forward,
episode where we're doing night session. So moving
Yes,
from morning to
okay.
night now, guys.
Okay, and moving forward, it's going to be Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. next week for the next 2 weeks
Yep.
because we're going to check if the later time is better and stuff like that. So anyway, welcome back. Amien, we had some videos earlier because we wanted to show you an example of what advertainment is like. Also, we had
Yep.
a slight technical glitch happening because we couldn't locate our speaker. He was in London, so we were like, oh my god! And then you had like Batman, the Lego movie sound in the background, so that just intensified the whole experience. But yes, we are back on track. So how is everybody doing? Who's in the house?
Yeah,
We've
let's see
got
who's in the house now. We have
Michelle Lim,
Well,
as usual. We've got
hi Abjal. How are you? Good to see you, Abjal. Good to see you again.
Okay.
Yana.
Hi,
Hello,
Eileen.
Yan.
and
We have
and
Tengku
Manju Chang.
Razman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome
gang is here.
everybody. Yes, okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. Today's episode is going to be pretty amazing, but not just
Yep.
today. We've got a whole month of amazing content lining up. Do we have something that we can show them? Amien?
Oh yes, we have.
Okay.
Last week we had Pixie Cigar, right?
Okay,
That was
and-
an awesome session.
Yes, and today
then
we've
we
got Dan Knowlton, who's going to be
Dan
talking
Knowlton.
about entertainment. Next
Okay.
week, because a lot of you guys have been telling me that, it's kind of scary to talk on camera. We can talk to Dan about this as well. So Muhammad Flavor Farouk is going to give you the lowdown on how to handle all these fears and how to make the best of it and how to slay it on camera or on stage. And of course,
I'm actually looking forward for that one because I just want to know
Because
if we can
Amien is
handle
constipated.
constipation. Yeah, that's
yes,
the thing.
okay, on camera. And of course, we've got Sujimi because his interview was so amazing that we need to do part 2.
Second
on-
time, right?
Yes, second time on if you're a brand, why you need to be, you're now you're in the business of media, whether you like it or not. Something like that. Okay, got it. And not just that, we've got coming up. What else do we have? Next week, we're kicking off.
Next week we are kicking out we are getting our student up to the front. That's what we wanted to do, right? So
Yes,
we
okay.
decided that the best way to do it is to create an event for our student so that they
Yes.
can do something and teach us about what they have, right? So next week we
Yes,
actually have Chipping.
Yes, okay. And he's actually gone viral several times, right? About 70% of the time whenever he
70% of the
creates
time.
stuff. Yeah, so he's going to be sharing about contagious writing, how to craft viral content. So if you guys want some of that thing, make sure you follow us. Pauline's going to put up the link on the comment section. So make sure you sign up. And apart from, so that's happening on 17th of August, Monday at 8 o'clock at night. And we also have, what do we have, Amien?
We have our twice a month LinkedIn free profile assessment. So
Okay,
if you want to know if your profile is awesome or not, I
Sucky
think
or
the
not.
best way, or sucky or not, the best way for
Yeah.
you to do it is for you to fill out this profile assessment, and then we'll see how it goes, right?
Yeah.
And then what's
also
going to happen is that after that we're going to have like a 1 hour session where we will help you to improve your profile.
Yep, because LinkedIn is one of the best ways to get leads and to generate business. So if you're not using it, you're seriously missing out. So just come for this. It's free. So let's see how we can work together. And there's something else that you're sharing as well, Amien?
Yeah, so the intensive killer all-star LinkedIn profile, this one is happening like twice a month. This is the last one for this month, all right? So if you have not signed up for this, 29 August, right? That's the date. We'll give you the link afterwards.
Yep, and it's super affordable because we're giving you MCO price. And not just that, because people actually get leads after this, right? and they joined
Yep.
the popcorn community. So you definitely want to take advantage of that while the price is still low. So enough about that. Let's talk about what's happening today. Amien, do you know what we're going to be talking about?
I know that it's like something to do with blending advertising and entertainment. That's what I know.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And
So it's advertainment. So this is an example of, I mean, nobody likes to be sold to, but there's a certain type of content that the audience actually seek. And in fact, they can't help but consume. Now that is what we call advertainment. And in today's world, if you want to stand out, especially because internet and social media is such a crowded space, how does one stay alive? Or better yet, if you're new to the market, how do you set yourself apart from the market? That's what we're going to be talking about today. So yeah. So if you guys are excited, then let's have the intro video.
Popcorn.
right.
Hey guys, welcome back. I am Nina.
And I'm Amien. Welcome back to the Popcorn Justlanggar show.
Yeah, I mean, almost forgot what the name of the show is. All right, so the Popcorn's Justlanggar show, where we cover the latest on content creation, social media, entrepreneurship, and tech to help you guys position yourselves as business leaders and industry authorities out there through content creation. And today we're going to be talking about advertainment, how to produce entertaining marketing campaigns that drive trackable ROI. I mean, okay, trackable.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, what is advertainment? Why do most content fail? What do consumers actually want from social media? And for God's sake, how do we get a trackable ROI? That's what we're going to be talking about today. And before I intro you to the speaker, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comment section and we'll answer them for you. Okay, so now today's speaker, in true popcorn style, what can we say? We bring you the best. So Dan Knowlton is a UK-based digital and social media marketing expert. He's grown Knowlton into a multi-award winning business that has worked with the likes of FIFA, Wall, Nestle, Citibank, Eurotunnel, and Boston Consulting Group, to name a few. He's an international speaker known for giving his best insights away on stage. So if you are watching right now, get your fingers ready because you definitely want to be taking down a lot of notes. And Amien, you're going to love this. The head of digital of FIFA recently praised Dan and the Knowlton team for their support, saying that Knowlton co-founder Dan Knowlton's social media masterclass has a strong influence in shaping the content creation strategy for FIFA Club WC. So without further ado, Popcorn fam, please welcome Dan Knowlton. Right.
Hi.
So thank you for joining us, Dan.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Okay, and we're really humbled. And you guys are also the second. You're a multi-award winning agency, right?
Yeah, we've won a few awards over the years.
So congratulations, very humble. Okay, we're not used to humble Western people. Usually, they like to talk a lot. So this is
really?
nice to have. Yeah.
Thanks again.
Okay. All right. So again, before we go into the questions, if you guys have any comment or if you guys have any questions, please write down in the comment section and we'll try and answer it for you. So first things first, Dan, can you share a little bit about yourself in your own words? How did you start and come to be where you are? I had the impression that you started as an influencer, right?
So I started as not knowing a lot about marketing, really. So I definitely wasn't an influencer to start out with, but I did a business management with marketing degree at university. I went into a job in London. Have you guys ever been to London? Anyone?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
So
We love London!
So I worked in London for a year. And I worked in a very high pressure job and worked my way up the ranks. And then eventually I quit and I started working with my dad and supporting him with his marketing at his consultancy. And then started to win some business and started to get some small clients. And then I started our agency and my brother and I worked on it together. So that was like 6 years ago now. And over the last 6 years, we've just gone from, the first kind of 4 years really of our agency, we're just figuring out what we were doing, trying to work out how do you create content, how do you develop effective marketing strategies. It was a lot of trial and error, making lots of mistakes, learning, and that kind of helped us get to where we are now. And then 2 years ago is when we really started to sort of build a business rather than a sort of profitable job. And started to grow our team, and now there's 6 of us in our agency. So we're still a fairly small agency, but yeah, the team's gone from 2 to 6 in the last sort of year and a half. And yeah, we've
That's
worked on
really
lots of
fast,
exciting
actually.
campaigns.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of your content online, and you kind of talk about Instagram, advertainment. You also do classes on LinkedIn, right? What would you say, how do you help your clients?
Yes.
What sort of services do you provide to them?
Yeah, so it's definitely evolved over the last few years. We've done lots. We've built websites, we've produced videos, we've done paid social campaigns, but now we've kind of that whole process has helped us realize what we're really good at and what we're focusing on. So the big focus for us is producing really creative advertainment and creative video content teamed up with paid social media ads to drive trackable sales. That's kind of we call it the milking the top 10%. That's the top 10% of work that we want to be attracting. There's other things we do as well, but that's our real speciality.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned that 90% of your work is that social media management and content producing, right?
Well, we don't tend to do the traditional social media management. What we do is sort of mainly campaign led. So we'll work with a brand on ongoing campaigns over a period of time. So we won't just sort of post on your social media once a day. We'll come up with a real strategy that drives trackable return on investment.
Okay, cool. And the other guy, Lloyd, that's your brother?
Yeah, that's my brother. It's a family business, which adds
He
another
doesn't
element.
look like you, though. I mean, it's completely different. I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, that's what everyone says. Everyone says that. But
Okay.
no, we get on really well.
Okay, cool. Okay, so now that we know about you, can we get the definition out of the way first? Before that, we showed a video of you earlier. And would you say that's an example of advertainment, or because you guys, that was an old video, right? I didn't realize.
that was like one of the first videos we ever produced when we started the business. We've come a long way since then, but I guess that gives an idea of what advertainment is. So it's a bit of a buzzword, really, but in essence, it's entertaining advertising. Like nowadays, most people don't like being advertised to. They don't like being sold to. When you get a cold call or people trying to sell you stuff, you instantly have a barrier up. So we've kind of shifted this and put it on its head and produce advertising that people actually get excited to consume. The best way to think of it is the Super Bowl ads, that kind of advertising where people get excited to watch it rather than something that's a disruption and something that annoys you.
Okay. So what are the other main benefits of advertainment, and why do you think it appeals to people so much?
Because of time, because on social media, there's so much information we can be consuming from so many different places. And if you think about the reason why people are online, people go on social channels online for escapism. They go on there to be entertained. They go on there to be inspired, to learn things. So this is why very sales-based advertising is becoming less and less effective, because you don't go on social media to be sold to. You go on there for these different reasons that I've just spoken about. So it really kind of helps meet the needs of people on those platforms rather than just doing something that benefits you as a company.
Right. Okay. So speaking about that, what is it that businesses and brands don't get? Because they seem to think other things, right? Or what do they get wrong most of the time?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because ultimately most brands, companies, organizations have one main objective of driving revenue, profit, selling their products and service. And with that in mind, there's a lot of pressure on the sales team and the marketing team to generate those results. And a lot of businesses go into the mindset of, right, we need to sell our product or service. Let's produce campaigns that sell it. And they instantly go with the sale in mind. Whereas, people need a lot more warming up to buy your product or service than just an ad that says, buy our product, it's the best. They need you to become aware of you. And the approach that we talk about softens that kind of journey of them knowing who you are to then being convinced and trusting you to actually buy your product.
Yeah, because that's really important, right? Because most of the time people sell and there's no relationship, and you need that relationship and that trust, right?
Yeah, I also think it's important for everyone watching or listening to know that what we're going to be talking through today, this is just an approach that we've had a lot of success with. There's lots of other ways of doing this. You know, something over the last 6 years I've kind of evolved, and when I started and we had success with this, I thought this is the one way you should do this. Everyone, you should do advertainment. Whereas this isn't necessarily the best approach for everyone, but it's a very, very effective approach for the right types of companies. So everything we go through today, you should take with a pinch of salt, because this isn't the only one way. You know, we do other things. We don't just do advertainment. We do a whole range of things. So that's an important point to make as well.
Okay, so since we're talking about it works for certain, who is advertainment for? Is it small businesses or big ones? And which industry? Can you take something like hardcore engineering or medical science fields and make them entertaining? Just wondering. Yeah.
So no, it's a good question. I do think that anything can be turned into something entertaining. So, for example, you know, we've worked with a whole range of boring brands like an
Could you
Apple
share
company.
with us if you're allowed to?
Yeah, I won't say the exact name of them, but there's a in the UK there's a brand that grows apples, literally the fruit, the apple. It's like a very well-known brand of apple, and we've worked with them for the last few years on a whole range of different creative campaigns, and that's not the most exciting of businesses. What I will say is that it's definitely easier to come up with cool concepts with a more exciting brand. But if you're a brand that produces nuts and bolts, there's definitely creative ways you can, because at the end of the day, the people buying the product are still people. They still can relate to funny, entertaining things. Just because it's a boring product, it doesn't mean that you can't make that interesting and entertaining.
Right. Okay. Speaking about entertaining, the panda, the angry panda ad? It's the one where it gets angry if you don't buy the panda cheese. You know,
I haven't seen that. I don't think.
It's in the Middle East. I gotta show you that, because it gets triggered if if you don't buy his brand,
Right,
and it's
okay.
angry and it scares you into buying it.
I'll have to
But
watch
it somehow
that.
works. Yeah. I'll send you the link. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so what kind of industry do you think really shouldn't dabble into advertainment?
Yeah,
If you can think of any.
that's a really good question. I think it is really important that any of your communications align with the values of a brand. If you're a very serious, you know, straight down the line, very corporate brand, and that's the message you want to, you want people to know you for being corporate, for being serious, I don't think advertainment would be good for you, because that would, potentially done in a watered down way. But from our perspective, what really works with advertainment is when you can have creative freedom and you can really push things to the limit in terms of, you know, being a bit crude and that kind of thing. So, you know, you could produce an advertainment campaign for a brand that is very serious, but you'd need to water a lot of things down. But there are other ways of producing sort of entertaining advertising that don't have to be funny, but they could be, you know, emotion triggering, emotive ads. You know, we're working with a big recruitment company at the moment to do a campaign that's targeting the children of elderly people for private care, so that they can get care in their homes rather than sending them to kind of a care home. And you know, we're not producing entertaining ha-ha content. We're producing emotive storytelling content that captures the attention of the decision maker and then draws them in with this story. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So basically, it's not just entertaining ha-ha. It could also be anything that kind of triggers the human emotion. So it could be anger, sadness, or joy, because we're humans, right?
Exactly. And ultimately, people buy because of emotion. They buy because their emotions have been triggered. So, you know, depending on which emotion you're trying to trigger will depend on the kind of creative direction of the campaign that you're running.
Right. Okay. And it's the same with Christmas ads, right? That's a fantastic form of advertainment.
Yeah. I don't know over there, but in the UK,
we don't get the UK ones, except if we troll them, because we've been there.
So yeah, in the UK, there's this whole kind of culture around Christmas ads. So people get excited to see adverts from companies like John Lewis, Sainsbury's, mainly kind of big stores, and they produce these really high budget, emotive, nostalgic storytelling kind of ads that are entertaining and remind you of, you know, when you were younger. And some of them are actually really sad. People have even, you know, said that they can cry to some of these ads and things. So they're really, really emotion triggering. But everyone gets excited to see Christmas ads here. Definitely.
We have a similar version of that. It's called the Eid because we celebrate Eid. So Petronas is like our major oil company over here in Malaysia, and they started having all these sad ads. And every year, it's a thing for Malaysians that we wait for this Eid time so we can cry in front of. I mean, it's a big joke, and I would say that they. You know, Petronas, I don't know if you agree with me, but Petronas, because of that ad, everybody else has the standard where, we got to do like a Petronas ad. It's got to be like a Petronas.
The standard was set by there was this one great director who passed away a few years back. His name is Yasmin Ahmad. So she set the standard of entertainment. Her name.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So it's also quite similar with the Thai ads. I don't think so.
Oh yeah, there are amazing Thai ads which you cry as well. So they're pretty.
Oh really?
I'll send you links on that because they're pretty epic, and they're all like hair shampoo or whatever. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have like a really competitive product in a saturated marketplace, can we actually make a comeback with a really good advertainment campaign?
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, if you look at, you know, why are companies like Apple, they're not necessarily producing advertainment, but why are they so popular compared with, you know, lots of very, very similar products from other countries? Because they've built their brand, they've built something that people actually care about. So there's a couple of things. If you've got with the best marketing can generate some business for your company. However, if you don't have a product or service of good quality to back it up, that's not going to be a kind of long-term thing. So definitely you can differentiate yourself by good marketing. I mean, that's how organizations do differentiate themselves, through building their brand, through marketing that brand effectively.
Okay, got it. So you definitely need a good product to begin with, and then a good story or something that touches people's heart.
To be successful long term, yes, a good marketing campaign can sell some products, any products, if there's some demand for it. But if you haven't got a good quality product and people don't like it, then there's not going to be longevity to that business.
Okay, got it. Now, when it comes to brands working with, wanting to explore advertainment, what sort of mindset do they need to have? And number two, does it necessarily mean it's expensive?
Okay, number one, an open mindset. They need to have an open mindset, because I think it's interesting. We speak to lots of companies who approach us to work with us, and the approach we take with advertainment is a very different and potentially scary sometimes approach that compared to the traditional standard, corporate-y approach. So you need to have an open mindset. I think you need to understand that if you continue using the same approach you've always used, you can't expect different results. So this is why you need to be bold. You need to have an open mindset. So that's the mindset question. In terms of, does it need to be expensive? No. If you look at the example that you shared from us that we produced years ago at the start of this session, we produced that on a budget using very cheap cameras and no high production at all. You can even do this with your phone. If you look at, for example, platforms like TikTok's full of entertainment or advertainment if brands are doing it. That's just shot with your phone. It's just tapping into kind of culturally relevant situations and trends in a very low production way. So it doesn't need to be expensive, no.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, everything we need is with us, right, in the smartphone.
Yeah, I'm just curious to know, the ads that we showed just now was like one of the first few that you had. How much budget do you spend for that, actually? And how long does it take to do that? Yeah,
that specific video.
Yeah, the specific video.
The networking one.
The budget, so it took one, I can't remember what camera we used. It was like the first ever camera we had, which is probably a few £100. So one SLR camera, I think we had some really what editing software did we use? It was something called like Cyberlink Pro, which was a really cheap editing software, and then just some time, so like a day shooting, a day editing. So it was very very low budget. Not a lot.
Okay.
But
Okay.
at the same time, there's a sliding scale. So the bigger brand campaigns that we run, we won't do it on a low budget because it's a bigger brand and we need it to be high production. So I'll give you an example. At the moment, we're currently planning a campaign for a brand and a really big advertainment piece for a very large Whole Foods company. And in this campaign, we're planning to do a skydive, blowing up a shed, and various other high production sort of activities. So there's a sliding scale, but if anyone's watching this thinking, oh, I can't start because I don't have a big budget, you definitely can. You just need to learn how to do it.
Okay, got it. We're big believers in that because we do our own content as well and are kind of silly as well. Okay, I'd like to talk about mindset. When you say open, how open do you mean? Because you've had a lot of experience in working with clients, right? Is it very hard? Because some of them are like, very...
I think an important thing to take into account is we practice what we preach. So with we produce a whole range of different types of content and marketing communications. We've got a podcast where we very openly talk about the business world called the Business Anchors podcast and our experiences in growing a business. We've got entertaining sketches, like funny marketing videos, whole range of different things. And all of the communications we put out, we don't sort of limit ourselves. We're just ourselves. And there's good and bad things about that. We attract the right people because we don't hold back. So anyone who would align with our values and how we are is attracted to us. And anyone who doesn't align with us is repelled by us, basically wouldn't want to work with us, which is great because that being bold and being ourselves and we are quite fun and we have a laugh, that attracts the right people and repels the rest.
Okay, cool. So basically, okay. So it does. Okay, out of curiosity, let's say that's 100% of people who are coming to you. How many are usually repelled, and how many percent are like gravitate towards you like nobody's business?
So I can tell you an exact statistic actually, because we use sales funnel software. So we convert at the moment 41% of the leads that come in. So that's not necessarily just because they're repelled by certain things we're doing. There's a whole range of variables that would impact that, but in our HubSpot we can see it's 41% at the moment.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, Amien, are there some questions from some user? Somebody's saying, Dan, thanks for sharing your time with us. They want to know what you think of Thai ads. He hasn't seen any, right? So we'll have to send him the link.
Please do.
And they're saying that the insurance company actually did quite well, and that's surprising because they even did like a cockroach spray. So that's that. Asha has a question. Asha is saying, who would be your ultimate client or product that you have a secret story that's waiting to be made?
Ooh, I'm curious to know as well.
That's a good one. That's Asha, one of our students.
I think for me, our kind of golden egg client is any B2C brand, so a company that sells products to consumers that already has a proven sales process. So not like a startup or anything, a brand that's already selling their products to the consumers on other channels that we can really help with it. In terms of a specific example, I'm trying to think of any brands that have a kind of fun tone of voice. I can't think of an exact example now, but I'll have a think. I'll have a think about that.
Okay, cool. Next question. Isn't advertainment somewhat similar to content marketing or influencer marketing, or is it not the same, or it's interchangeable?
Yeah, so advertainment is just a buzzword or a term used to as a type of communication. So it could be any form of marketing. It could be influencer marketing. It could be posting leaflets. You could have some kind of entertainment on the copy that you're using in the leaflet. It could be print. It could be speaking at an event. It's really just a sort of theme of communication. It's not necessarily a standalone because you need to have the certain marketing channels to communicate that advertainment on.
Okay, so basically it could be anything. It could be emails, it could be flyers, as long as it's basically entertaining content.
Yeah, it's just ultimately it's understanding that your consumers don't want to be advertised to. They want to consume interesting, entertaining content. But at the same time, for you to sell products and services to them, you need to interline your product with that content and your sales messages and help overcome objections. So there's a difference between just producing funny cat videos, because that's entertainment, that's not advertising. So there's a difference between that and actually producing a really entertaining piece of creative that ultimately helps your customer overcome objections and sells the benefits and features of your product. And we actually did a video of this on our LinkedIn and broke down the specific formula we use with clients to produce this kind of creative.
Wow. Okay. Do you mind sharing the formula?
Yeah. Well, it's on. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So definitely look at my LinkedIn. There's a featured video which goes into way more detail. But it starts with a hook. So the first few seconds of a video, you need something eye-catching that's going to grab the attention of the viewer. So for example, in the example I spoke about earlier with the skydiving and stuff, the start of that video could be a shed blowing up, because that's going to instantly get people, well, what's going on? So it's the hook. The next part is the teaser. You need to give the viewer a reason why they should continue watching. So it's kind of teasing, in this video, we're going to show you this thing and you want to know the thing, if that makes sense. Then it's identifying a problem or an objection. So objection one, for example, let's say a phone. Objection one. Objection one could be to do with cost. So you think smartphones are really expensive. We're going to show you why they're not. Then you come up with your solution. We've got a really cost-effective smartphone. Here's why it's cost-effective. Then you do problem, solution, problem, solution, problem, solution. And then there's a bridge, which is like in a pop song. When a bridge comes in a song, it kind of changes the pace to let viewers know that something's about to change. So it keeps them drawn in. And then throughout each of these different segments, there's calls to action. So throughout each section, you're saying, if you want to buy this product, click this link, and you're continuing to say that throughout. And then the final part is the final call to action, where you're saying, right, you've watched this far, click the link, buy the product. That's a very quick rundown of the formula, but the video shows you in more detail.
Right.
So
okay. Sounds good.
So it's hook, teaser, problem, solution, bridge, call to action, and call to action again.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Call to action throughout. I missed out the call to action throughout.
It sounds very much like almost a Save the Cat kind of for film, in a way. Kind of. Yeah. Except you have more. I mean, for those who are watching and you don't know what Save the Cat is, it's basically a structure for a film. And 99% of the time, if you follow this structure, you're going to get the same results. Your audience is going to be happy because you maximize the emotions out of them. And I think that's exactly what you're doing. Yep.
Yeah.
So good on that. Do you have? Can you share with us some successful examples of advertainment? I mean, if you can.
There's one example you should all look at, because it's a campaign that we ran. But if you look at Wall UK's Facebook page, that's the it's one of the largest male personal grooming brands in the world. We produced a piece of advertainment for them that's pinned to the top of their page, which is it's called "With This Beard I Can Do Anything," and it's an interesting video, entertaining video that it's the leading character is kind of a traditional man in his man cave, and he talks you through these different scenarios. And we ran it as a campaign last Christmas to sell their flagship product, which is called an aqua blade. But have a look at that, and you'll get the gist of what advertainment is. There's also other things.
Did it do well?
Yeah.
Obviously, like how many results kind of thing.
We've got a case study on our website, but we generated, I think it was 9.16 return on ad spend. So for every £1 invested in ads, and they invested a lot, we returned 9.19 return.
Wow, almost 10.
Yeah, almost 10.
Yeah,
that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
That's
It,
very
it
good.
really, we've tried so many different things, and also it's important to say that campaign and all the campaigns we run don't just include a big piece of hero advertainment content. There's a whole range of different pieces of content we produce that are mapped to the decision-making process of the customer. So, for example, we have a big awareness piece of content advertainment, which draws the consumer in, like, wow, this is exciting, I want to watch this. And then we remarket to them with a whole range of middle of funnel consideration content, things like case studies, testimonials, client unboxings, objection overcoming content. For example, you're going to buy this, I'm trying to sell you this phone. You're thinking, does the battery life last very long? We'd produce a test video that shows you, look, we're going to put this to the test if this phone's battery will last for 3 days. And then we show you that piece of content to help overcome that objection. And there could be 100 objections, So there's a whole range of things that it's not just one piece of creative. There's lots that goes into it.
It sounds like you're creating a funnel almost.
Yeah.
right?
That's exactly what we do. That's exactly what we do.
Right. So you're creating video content at every point of the funnel.
Each of the different stages, and then we use clever paid social advertising to remarket to the people who have demonstrated that they've got an interest at each of those stages. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's good fun and it works.
Sounds good. Okay, cool. There's questions from the viewers. Fibers Nadira Zainal is saying, any comments on the duration of an advertisement? Because some advertisements have good content, but it's a bit too long.
Yeah. So I really don't think there's whenever other people answer this question, I think a lot of people think there's a magic formula. If you produce a 2-minute video, that's going to work the best. I don't believe in any of that. I think, why do we watch Lord of the Rings for 3 hours? Because we enjoy it and it's something providing us value and we're entertained. You could produce a 3-hour, a 3-hour podcast like Joe Rogan. Why do people watch his 3-hour podcast on YouTube, which is soon going to be Spotify because he's moved over there? Because it's great content. So your video can be as long as you want, but it has to be engaging throughout and be interesting and entertaining throughout. And you should look at your analytics to see how much of your videos people are watching to give you an idea. You might find that after 2 minutes, everyone drops off, and maybe you're thinking you should change your videos to 2 minutes rather than 10 minutes, but you need to test. Test.
Yep. Okay.
I think just to add to that, I think there's a lot of good examples on duration of time they basically are very creative in terms of how they do it. I don't know if you've seen this Japanese ad where they use gums. And they actually break it up into it's a
15,
long gum.
Okay, so what it is, it's if you look at the entire thing, it's 6 minutes, but when they released it, it's all like 15 seconds, 15 seconds, 15 seconds. And if you combine it all, it becomes like a mini series.
Right,
it's freaking awesome. Yeah, it's Takeru gum kind of thing. And you watch it because you want to see what happens in the end.
Right, that makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so Haley has another question. Would branded content like The Voice or cooking show be considered as advertainment?
It depends if they're trying to sell anything.
Okay.
The Voice, so cooking show, I guess, because ultimately they've got to make money somehow. They'll probably have brand deals in there. They'll probably have products that they show throughout that but again, you'd need to know the motive of the show if they're trying to sell something, because just entertaining video like stuff on Netflix is an advertainment because it's not trying to sell a product. It's not combining advertising and entertainment. It's just entertainment. So yeah.
Okay, got it. Next question also by Haley, because she's in projection. Do you have a challenging client story that you don't mind sharing with us? That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm not going to name any specific client.
Yeah.
I can't.
All clients are protected.
I think in terms of challenging, I think there's with what we do, especially when the production gets higher with these client projects, there's a lot of moving parts and a lot that needs to happen in a fairly short space of time, because there's usually quite a short turnaround. So there's lots of things that need to happen from our end and lots of things we need to get from the client. And I think some of the most challenging projects we've worked on are when a client, we set out the timeline and we don't get what we need at the right times, and it kind of mucks things up and makes it more challenging. So I guess that's probably the most challenging thing with clients. But I can't name a specific client. No way.
Okay. So that's not challenging at all. You're just late.
but I think I'm a bit curious to know from your side, right? How do you manage these challenges when you have like?
I think
Low
challenging
client.
So
Yeah.
a few things. Learning from our mistakes. So when we started out, we didn't have many systems or processes in place. It was just, oh, a project's come in, let's randomly do it when we first started. Whereas now, when we're working on much bigger projects for bigger brands, there's lots of systems and processes we have in place to ensure that everything's working like a well-oiled machine. So I guess, how do we overcome those challenges? We realized we mucked up, and then we thought, we don't want to do that again because that wasn't very good. And then we researched and developed different processes. Also, hiring people that are better than us as well to come in and bring in new, better systems and processes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice.
I have a question in now, hold on, yeah, because basically Dan has an experience from like real startups to now like going up to big clients and all that. What are some of the major distinctions that you see when it comes to dealing with the big brands that the new startup can actually learn? Yeah.
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Just a question.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
We talk all the time, so it's not me.
What could they learn from the big brands? I think trying new things. I think a big problem with smaller brands is they don't want to. I guess it can work both ways. They don't want to take many risks, and they think, oh, I don't know if I can try that. Whereas bigger brands usually have more experience and understand that they have to be constantly evolving and trying new things. And again, the same as us now. We're constantly trying new different things. The podcast that we started was a complete test for us. We had no idea if it was going to do anything, generate business, but now we're just starting to see the results come through from that. But there's lots of things we've tested that haven't worked. So I think what smaller businesses can learn is, if you've been doing the same thing for a long period of time, you should always 20% at least of what you're doing should be a test in new different areas, right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, because otherwise you just end up doing the same thing, getting the same results. Whereas if you can have that 20% testing new different channels, you may find that one is starting to work well, and then you can invest more resource in it.
And because things change so much, right? So we need to explore. Okay.
Constantly. Go on.
I'm going to switch the question now. So what are some of the things that the big brands can learn from the small startups?
Oh, good question.
Good question.
Good job.
What can some of the big brands? I guess the ability to move quickly on things. When you work with a bigger brand, there's lots of there's a saying, like lots of too many chefs spoil the whatever it is. But there's a saying in the UK, yeah. So there's lots of people involved in the decision-making process in a bigger brand. So there's lots of hoops you have to go through, which means that you can't move as quickly on a project to get it signed off and things going. And yeah, we need that, sign that off. Whereas a smaller brand is much more nimble, and you could say we literally speak directly to the founders of the smaller brand, and they say, yep, do that, that's fine, we'll sign that off, and it's a much quicker process. So bigger brands can learn to be smaller. They should be smaller so they can be more nimble. I don't know how they could be more nimble, but because it's the nature of the beast when you grow a bigger organization and you're in the public domain more, you need to be a lot more careful about the things you do, because people are constantly scrutinizing you.
Okay, got it.
So this is a follow-up question to that. Hold on. See, I'm drilling things, right?
Oh, okay.
This is good. So
while I clean my lens, go on. Sorry.
So based on what you said, can we agree that speed matters more now compared to quality? Or what do you think? What's your question? Yeah.
I don't know. That's a really difficult one. I'm thinking, because I'm trying to think of a real example in my head. We wouldn't want to put anything out that wasn't good quality for a brand. So for example, if I'm just thinking of projects we're currently running, when there's lots of moving parts and things can be delayed, we'd rather still go ahead with the best quality solution rather than reduce the quality by going for a cheaper, quicker version. So I'd say they're both incredibly important, but I wouldn't want to put out bad quality. But at the same time, kind of flipping on its head, in terms of quality, I think nowadays consumers are a lot more used to lower production and lower quality content with things like stories. When Snapchat first came in, what's Snapchat nowadays? But when it first came in, it completely changed the social media game when it brought in stories. People were just producing content on their phone, the opposite of traditional Instagram, where everything's polished and, it has to be perfect. Yep. So it's way more, and that kind of started that whole sort of evolution of social media content not having to be perfect and polished. So in that sense, I think it doesn't have to be perfect quality, but what we were talking about was the high production content that does need to be good quality. So
agreed. I think so. Okay, there are some questions from the audience with the COVID-19 pandemic. I think this is Michelle Lim, and budget cuts. How do you convince your clients to try this new thing when budget is thin?
By showing them case studies and results that you've achieved for other similar brands.
Okay.
I think that, what we've learned over the last few years is the best way to, once you can get in front of a client and to sell to them, is to demonstrate the results you've achieved for other similar brands and examples and case studies, so that they can see you're not just saying you can achieve these results, you're showing real tangible evidence. And when you're a smaller company and you're starting out, you don't always have that tangible evidence, but I'd be doing everything I can to get those case studies on board, because each case study could be with a bigger, better, more credible brand, and it can help you. It's helped us so much. Each case study we've got with a more credible client has helped us sell the next project with the next client, because you're going up a notch each time.
Okay.
I guess that's one thing. What other things when budgets are thin? It sounds strange, but for us, we've grown the most we have in this pandemic, during the pandemic, even when budgets are thin. So I think even though marketing budgets are being cut in a lot of cases, I think if this is where the cream will rise to the top, which means this is where the best quality service providers will shine through and the worst ones will die. Basically, this is why it's so important to put your best foot forward and demonstrate that you're the marketing, or you're the company they should invest that budget in.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Michelle, are you in marketing or something? Because her next question is I don't know how to pronounce this. I mean,
hypothetically.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can help me. When an ad fails,
how fast would the audience?
Yeah.
It depends what you mean by fails. If you mean you don't get the response you want, I think that will it really doesn't matter, because they're consuming so much content online, they'll skim past it. Rather than going out to the world and remembering for the next year, I hated that ad. They'll just skim past it and they'll forget within 2 seconds. In terms of a marketing company, how often how fast would we forget? We don't forget very quickly, because we need to learn from it. So it's something we'll constantly remember. But it's just the nature of the beast that a percentage of your ads will fail, a percentage of your concepts, your ideas will fail. This is why you need to produce a variety of content at each stage of the funnel to try and test and see what works. Because you never, ever have I ever seen everything that we've produced work perfectly. There's some that work much better, some that isn't. And that's how you evolve your strategy, by analyzing that data and then making changes.
Okay,
I think I'm going to follow up into this.
Okay.
In your point of view, personally, right? Based on your experience and what you've seen in the market, if there is one ad or one campaign that you feel that it's a total flop, what would that be?
That would have been my next question.
What would be the lesson?
There's been a
Do you have an example?
Examples of it.
You put me on the spot. There's been some recent ones. I'll have a think about an exact example, but I'll give you a general consensus. So when some of the times the campaigns really flop is when brands try and tap into culturally relevant trends and they try to look cool, but they just look like, you know, your dad at a party trying to look cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Trying too
remember.
hard.
Yeah, I remember Pepsi.
Yeah, what was the
Which
Pepsi
one was
one?
that?
The one with
Oh.
Kendall Jenner.
Yeah,
The
the
one
one
with Kendall
with
Jenner,
one
right?
of the Kardashians.
Yeah, one is Kardashian.
Oh, yeah. So there's a few like that. There's a few where they've tried to really tap into trends and be cool, and the message just really hasn't resonated. And
There is the Microsoft one as well, I think. Some party.
Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah, there's that one. Yeah, I
Could you
spoke about that.
explain? Yeah, like from the start, because some people don't understand.
Yeah, I actually should remember this because I've done a whole range of talks on this. Yes, the house party app. So Microsoft did this campaign to produce, a video campaign to promote the launch of Windows 7, I think it was, like years ago. And they did this whole weird kind of scripted kitchen situation where they had different people from different demographics acting as if they were having a house party to set up Windows 7, and it actually was so cringy and all set up and scripted. But the thing is, it's funny because we're saying that completely failed, but it got loads of press because it was so bad. We got like millions of views online because people were just taking the mick out of it.
Did it sell Windows 7 out of curiosity? Because it was so bad. Okay, cool. So it was a flop because it was so cringy, and yet at the end of the day, it helped with sales.
It got them, you know, they say any PR is good PR, and it got lots of PR.
Yeah, that's true. We agree with that.
It's similar with one of the Tesla launch, right? When Elon Musk was like breaking up the glass or something.
Oh yeah.
I thought
and then
that
after that,
was Apple.
there was a car. It was one of
Oh,
the
it was a
cars.
car. Okay.
Yeah.
And then it was a massive fail, but it's free press. Anyway.
There's also, I don't know if you saw the video, there was a driverless car. They were doing a test to say that it stops it automatically stops it before it crashes into anything, and the person stood there and go, look, it's going to stop, and the car just ran him over. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's loads of examples like that.
Okay, so we have Vignesh Nathan is saying broth. I don't know if that's Klingon, so we'll let it go. BROTH, which is cute. Okay, so let's say I'm going to do this advertainment I'm a client and I'm in, okay? What are some key requirements to a successful advertainment?
Okay, so the first thing is to truly understand who you're trying to convince to do something. So crucial. It's the traditional marketing 101. Who's your target market? But for this to work, it's so crucial because the whole point of advertainment is that you relate to a certain type of person to draw them in to that piece of content. So for example, for our own advertainment, for our marketing agency, we produce lots of entertaining sketches that marketing teams from brands will relate to, because that's who we want to hire us. We want the marketing teams of Nike, Adidas, Apple, whoever, to see these campaigns and to think, oh, I can relate to that, and then and then once they're drawn in, they can see the great work we've done. So that's the first thing: knowing who you're trying to target, and not just knowing them, but knowing the different nuances and situations that only they will understand. Because to really resonate with someone and to get them to take action, you need to really speak to those individuals. That's the first thing. Secondly, you need to really think about not just how to produce something entertaining, but how is this going to sell your product or service? Because like I said earlier, there's a big difference between producing funny cat videos and actually producing a really cleverly, strategically produced piece of content that sells your product and service. So for example, again, the client example with that video formula I shared with you, throughout the video formula, you clearly communicate the problem the customer has and the solution that you provide to solve it in creative ways. Other ways that we do it in our content, you know, we produce marketing sketches and post them on LinkedIn that are between 5 and 10 minutes long. You know, when it gets to the 4-minute mark, we literally look at the camera and say, this is an advert for our service and you're still watching it. And it's like the light bulb moment, people thinking, oh, this is an advert for this agency and I'm still watching their content. We need to do that for our brand. So it's thinking cleverly about that, and also having the right creative team around you. Or if you're even if you're only you, try and bounce your ideas off other people to ensure that because you need to be creative to make this work.
Okay, got it. Can do. Okay, do you want to do the next question, Amien? What would be some topic or themes that you recommend people to stay away from that could be a double-edged sword? Are there any, or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've got to be careful. Again, it's completely individual for each brand, but I wouldn't be doing anything political or anything like offensive that can really,
like religion, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah. Religion, politics, anything that you can really upset people. But there is a fine line, because for something to be entertaining and funny, not all content, but we found, going close to the line can really generate good results, but you don't want to cross that line and become rude and offend people. So there really is a balance that you need to get right, because it can go horribly wrong.
Right. Okay. Are there any examples of horribly wrong? Just wondering.
A few. I think things like, I'll give you some examples. So there's been lots of brands that have done campaigns, like, for example, Boohoo.com, who were recently in the news this is like a fast fashion brand in the UK, very well known. They talk about being ethical and, caring about their staff. And then stories come out about them having, like slave trade, basically, underpaid workers and things. Okay. So I think it's when the kind of message of the marketing campaign doesn't align with their actual actions when it goes wrong. It's just like, what was it? Even Nike got scrutinized. I think Nike did the big campaign around the Black Lives Matter that's at the moment, and they got scrutinized because I think on their board for the whole company, most of them are white. So their actions, there's not a diverse group of people. So the actions that they're actually taking don't align with the message that they're trying to share. So I really think if you're out there, passionate about a certain topic, your actions need to align with that, rather than just doing it.
You gotta do it like this, right? Exactly. As opposed to,
Exactly.
I think Whole Foods got it, and Amazon as well. Because Whole Foods is owned by Amazon, and Jeff Bezos was saying, "Oh yeah, Black Lives Matter," and then suddenly the staff comes in with like some Black Lives thing, and then they got kicked out, or you got to quit.
Oh, really?
Or take it off, So then there's like a stage thing.
I think in Malaysia we have another campaign, Lim Kok Wing.
Oh, what happened with that one? I didn't know that.
Remember, he came up with this whole billboard in the college, and then he was being portrayed as the savior of the black people. The owner of the college actually put that during Black Lives Matters, and he got serious backlash from everyone.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's the worst thing ever. I didn't see that, but okay.
You got to be careful. You got to be careful in these.
You got to be careful with this kind of stuff.
Okay, so I read somewhere that you're basically not into salesy stuff. It's about being genuine and developing relationships, right? So, what is your advice to businesses out there? I mean, what if they are super salesy? Because we meet so many of us on LinkedIn. Do you actually get addicted to it? Do they need to go to an AA or super salesy anonymous meeting? I'm just wondering.
We did a marketing sketch on this, actually taking the mick out of it. But again, I think it's important to know that this is just my opinion, and there's very direct salesy approaches that work. So in my opinion, I really don't like them, because I think it's lazy. And it's very clear to see when someone is just trying to connect with you and sell you their product or service. However, like I said, there's lots of people who use this strategy and it works. But I really think you just need to see how that's working for you. And I guarantee if you're connecting with people online and instantly trying to sell your product and service, I bet your conversion rate is very low. I'd be interested to hear if this is working for anyone, but I don't know who would want to buy a product of someone who just instantly tries to sell to them. It's that whole, the reasoning is, think of your consumer's decision-making process to buy your products and services. Just like in a real life situation, if I met you face to face for the first time and you were trying to sell me a battery, I've got a battery in my hand, don't know why. If you were trying to sell me that battery and you came up to me, "Hi Dan, nice to meet you. Do you want to buy this battery?" I'd be like, "No, who are you? What are you talking about?" Whereas if we met, we didn't talk about your batteries, but we built a relationship. And over time, I had a need for batteries. I'd think, yes, I'd love to buy your batteries. It's the same kind of thing.
Okay.
I'm really not a fan of being sold to at all.
We absolutely agree with you, because we've got so many people like kind of messaging us, and it's like kind of, whoa, I don't even know about you, right? And you want to do this. And the best thing, the one thing that we have is we do LinkedIn classes like you, and then we've got a guy who's a marketing guru, and he asks us if we want to do his LinkedIn class, and we're like, don't you check what we do? And it wasn't just me. Amien got it as well, and I was like, whoa, you know. But here's the thing: they get results, and they get results faster because the way we do things is slower. So, what is the story we tell ourselves so that we don't feel bad? Because they get faster results.
Who gets faster results? Are these salesy people?
Yeah, the salesy people.
Well, I don't know. Is that true? I don't know.
It seems like it.
I would say, okay, put it this way. I would say, you know, if you were cold calling, that's a real direct sales approach. You know, how many people do you have to call to convert your ideal client?
I can tell you the numbers.
Tell.
I was in contact before. So my daily call rate at that time was about, at least minimum effective sales calls was supposed to be about 60 calls a day. 60 calls.
And what's your results?
The results is less than 5%.
Whoa. I think we get higher percentage with ours, right? I mean?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
Our closure rate by building relationship.
I think it's another thing as well with using this approach to attract opportunities through producing value-adding content, through building relationships. You also get much better quality leads coming in, because they've self-qualified before they've even come to you, rather than you directly calling them, hey, you want to buy my stuff? You know, they've been warmed up over a period of time, rather than being annoyed by you calling them up directly and saying, buy this stuff.
Okay.
That's just my opinion anyway.
Okay. No, it's good. It's true. So a lot of people think it's slightly slower.
This is something that I'm going to start thinking like them right now, okay? Because I'm getting a lot of this question, but I want to know your point of view on this. So some of the questions I got from them is that, how long do I need to wait? Right.
Well, okay. So do you know what I say? When we get cold calls here, I say, when I have a need for a service like yours, I'll do my own research and I'll identify the company I want to work with. So you don't need to call me.
Wow. Can I just say something? Dish. Bitch slap, y'all. Sorry.
No, but I mean, it's just annoying because they take up so much of your time. Sales emails, it's just they instantly get deleted. I feel bad for the person as well, because they're wasting their time.
Yeah.
Like, and this is the problem. Everyone wants results very quickly and instantly, whereas nothing happens quickly and instantly. Nothing, you know, for a longer term strategy, it needs to be a long-term approach where you consistently do a number of things over time that help attract opportunities. It's just a very lazy short-term approach to just directly try and call and sell to people, in my opinion.
I think our students are getting that, and they're so cute. You know what they do? They tell them off and say, you should go for this class. So we're like, what? Okay. We might get some haters. Okay, I do have another question. There's a fear about looking stupid for most companies. How does light-hearted joke affect trust in context of entertainment? I mean, I find that especially true for, say, banking clients. I mean, because, you know, they have certain things to portray. So what's your advice on that?
So firstly, producing entertaining content isn't for every brand. If it doesn't align with your brand, then don't do it, because it will negatively impact what you're trying to do. That's the first point. The second point, it's how it's done. If it's done well, with the right tone of voice in the right way, it works very, very well. If you don't do it well, it won't work well. So you need to decide what you're going to do to ensure you do it well, either through learning and practicing or hiring a company or whatever. You need to just figure that out.
Okay, got it. Thank you very much. Pauline, Michelle is saying, brands got to walk the talk. Nice message. Pauline is saying, spot on, Dan. And Asha has a question. How often do you turn clients away because of your XYZ filter in terms of their values, attitude? Asha.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Quite a lot. I think again through experience, it's all to do with qualifying. So when I started out, I had no idea what qualifying a customer even was, and I was anyone that showed any interest in working with us, I was like, yeah, brilliant. I'll drive 3 hours to come and meet you because it could work with you. Whereas over time, you start to gauge a few things. Who are the right customers for you? But we use an acronym called MAN, means, authority, needs, to qualify, right? So means, do they have the budget? It's very early on in an initial chat, we mention budget and we give some kind of idea of budget to work with us, because it's pointless for both parties to continue speaking if they're not going to have the budget. Authority, are they the decision maker? Or you need to be speaking to all of the decision makers, because again, through experience, we've made mistakes of going through this whole process with someone, and at the end, they're not the decision maker, and then they need to convince the decision maker. The final one is need. Do they actually have a need for your product and service? Sometimes your solution isn't the best solution for them, and there's another route which would be better for that specific client. So from our perspective, it's way better to be honest with yourself, and if you know that your solution isn't the best for them, to be honest and say there's other solutions that are better because for that specific client. And then the final thing I think is just you're using your initiative and your experience of engaging with over time. You start to get an understanding of who's just trying to pick your brain, who's potentially wasting your time, who's the perfect customer for you, who's looking like they want to become a customer but really they're trying to sell you something. It's just through experience of all of these different things over time, you start to get better. And again, we're still learning, so we're going to continue to learn how to do that.
Wow, that's really good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to leverage on Asha's question for another one.
Okay.
What if I was a business owner and I wanted to engage in an ad company, right? What would be your suggestion in terms of criteria that I need to take a look at?
So if you were hiring a specific marketing company, or a few really important things is to do your due diligence. So do research on that company, look for specific examples and case studies and evidence to show that they can deliver what they say they can. There's a lot of marketing companies out there that say that they can get you results when they've hardly got any proof from credible brands that they can do that. So that's the first thing. Also look at what they're doing for their own marketing as well. Again, there's a different opinion on this. A lot of companies think, they don't have time to do their own marketing because they're doing things for clients. I'm still a big believer in that. Really shows if they're good or not, what they're doing for themselves. So check what they're doing for themselves. And what else? Yeah, I think they're the two main things. Check examples and case studies. Also, third thing, when you have discussions with them, that you align with them. Check that your values align. And again, this will be using your initiative when you have those initial discussions. Check that you're on the same page. But just do lots of checking, because there's so much smoke and mirrors in marketing. People saying that they can achieve certain things when it's all just a lie. So definitely do your research, and even take it one step further. Call up the clients they say they've got on their website and ask them and speak to them and say, we saw that you worked with this company. How did it go? What results did they get? They may or may not tell you, but it's worth doing as much research as you possibly can.
Due diligence. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Asha is saying she's gonna stealing man. Thanks, Dan. Dan the man.
That's right.
Yeah, she's so cute. Okay,
Nina, just to remind on timing, yeah.
Yes, okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So one question, can a brand have personality while still maintaining professionalism?
Yes.
Okay, how? Could you explain a little bit? Because some people are not that creative.
There's a difference between trying to be entertaining and being a bit tacky, kind of like I said earlier, and actually doing it well. So it's all in the delivery. It's all in how it's done. There's no sort of one tip I can share. But, actually one thing you should do is get feedback from people you trust before you publish anything to ensure it's in line with your brand.
Okay, got it. Okay, so, what are some best practices with respect to advertainment? We're going to bring it to an end now. Are there any?
As I kind of said earlier, be really clued up on who you're trying to convince to buy your product or service.
Okay.
Take the strategy around creating something culturally relevant to them. What situations will only they understand, will only they get, will they see and think, aha, I've experienced that. Think of that and include that. And also remember, don't just make funny cat videos. Make sure there's strategy behind how you're going to sell and overcome objections in that concept.
Okay, got it. The most important question. So if brands are going to advertainment, like influencer marketing, one of the things they keep saying is there's no trackable ROI. So how do we track it? Do you have any tips?
Yep. So the way we track it is through paid advertising. So platforms like Facebook and Instagram ads, it's all 100% trackable because you can install a piece of code on your website and you can track who's seen an ad, who's clicked on an ad, who's bought something and how much they've spent. That's one of the easiest ways of tracking things. Digital is so much easier to track than other offline platforms. So there's loads of tools that you can use. For our agency, we use a HubSpot sales and CRM system. They've got a free version, which is really good. You can track your leads going through that and you can track where they've come from and that kind of thing. So yes.
Yes. Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
So basically HubSpot and Facebook, because they've got a really super...
and if you're using other channels, mapping out what are you like, working backwards, what's the result you want, what are the steps that are going to take you to get that result, and then literally going through each of those steps and thinking, how am I going to track that? So for example, one of the steps could be having a call with someone. How are you going to track how you're booking these calls in? You could create an Excel spreadsheet, or you could mark this in your customer relationship management tool. So think about what those steps are, and then literally think, how am I going to track that going through those steps? Okay,
got it. So I think that's all the questions I have. But moving forward, Dan, what are your plans? What's next for you? What's next for Knowlton?
Yeah, so we've got a 2030 plan that we're working towards to get to a certain size to build our team. So just continuing to work towards that and learn as we go. And yeah, I think I was doing a lot of speaking at events and things, but because of the global pandemic, that's not happening so much anymore. But hopefully going to look forward to doing some more speaking around the world in the future when we can travel.
Okay, sounds good. How's the situation there in the UK?
It's okay. Everything's open. There's just social distancing and a number of different things in place. Masks as well in shops and things. So what about you guys?
Same. I think we opened up how many weeks ago? Amien?
It's been more than a month.
More than a month, yeah. So everything's open and companies are kind of putting like half stuff in, they take turns kind of thing. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Cool. And we're really keeping track of the numbers. Okay, let's go into the rapid fire question. What are some rising trends that you see with respect to social media, marketing, advertisement that businesses need to be aware of?
The constantly changing results on each platform. For example, things like at the moment on LinkedIn, organic reach and engagement is really high compared to other platforms. That used to be Facebook before they started charging you for ads to reach those. So the constantly changing results on each platform. This is why that 20% of testing is so important, to try different things, because what you're doing now probably won't work in the next 6 months or a year, as well as other things could.
Right. Okay. Got it. And what are your top tips for businesses wanting to stand out in today's crowded digital media space? What advice would you give them?
Don't look at everyone else in your industry and get inspiration from them. Look at everything that in the world, not just in your industry, and look at who's absolutely smashing it and doing well and get inspiration from those places, not just everyone in your industry.
Okay, got it. What are 3 things that businesses can do right now with respect to digital or standing out on social media or advertisement for that matter?
3 things they can do.
Immediately, yeah.
Immediately. Okay.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing and think, what can you try and test that's different?
Okay.
Stop what you're doing and think, right, this week I'm going to try something different. 1. 2 is do your research. Something that really helps us to come up with really creative concepts that work really well is to do research and look at what some of the leading people in the world are doing and get inspiration from that. 3, What would number 3 be? Be patient, because if you go for a short-term approach, like we talked about with sales earlier, you're just it's not going to be as effective as if you were thinking long-term.
Okay, got it. Amien, any questions? Oh, one last one. What's one advice you'd give to businesses out there? If you had one advice to give, what would it be? Just
one piece of advice.
Yep. Sorry, I have to connect to the power.
That's all right. One piece of advice. I'd say with everyone you're listening to that's giving you advice, just remember they're talking about their own experiences of how they've got to where they are. There's lots of other ways to achieve what you want to achieve. So take every piece of advice with a pinch of salt and get your information from lots of different sources.
Got it. Okay, this is personal. Are you single?
No, got to feel had a baby.
So, I had to put that in with a baby. Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, Dan, for reaffirming what we believe and also for educating our audiences. And
that was a lot of questions. Wow.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dan. Please let us know once the shed has been bombed and it's out there in public, because we would love to see it and support you.
Okay.
We'll send you some stuff to see what's happening on this side of the world. But thank you so much. We learned so much, and we hope to catch you in person one of these days when we're allowed to fly, right?
Just a quick question. So for the audience who wants to get connected with Dan, where would that be? Dan,
LinkedIn. Dan
LinkedIn.
Knowlton.
Dan Knowlton, my name. Just search me on LinkedIn. That's the best place.
Okay, got it. Say hi to Lloyd. But thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, Dan. See you again.
Yeah, people are saying thank you, kind of thing. Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you, Dan. Stealing your man. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right. So that was a really super insightful session. I don't know about you guys, but basically, brands got to learn how to walk the talk. You got to be genuine. You got to be real. Anything that you got out of it, Amien?
I got a lot from a business perspective on how to select. I'm thinking 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when I become big, what's my criteria in terms of choosing my agency and so on. So there's a lot, clients. So there's a lot of lessons today. Yeah.
Okay, let us know in the comment section what you guys love the most, what you're bringing home. For me, what was so awesome is basically, what was that thing that he said to respond to them when they're trying to sell you something?
Oh, yeah.
That was so cool, the dish thing. And I even forgot what the dish is. Okay. Okay, I hope you learned a lot. What's happening next week that our people can take advantage of? We have something happening on 20th August, 8:30.
So let's talk about chasing again. That's happening. The 17th. One on the 17th. So we kind of decided to bring our student to the front, right? So once a month we will be having a session where our student will be the star. So for our first session for this month, we are featuring Lai Chi Sing, right? Who is a very experienced content writer, copywriter. He's going to be talking about contagious writing. He has like a whole bunch of stuff that's gone viral. So if you want to know how to get yourself viral, this is a session for me, right? Okay,
happening on Monday, 17th, 8 p.m. Pauline will put the link there. And then we've also got our LinkedIn classes on the 20th. Do we have a photo of that?
Yes, we do. The free LinkedIn profile assessment.
Sorry, that's 19th. Yes, okay. 19, so this is free. If you don't want to spend money, this is one of the best ways. It comes with an assessment, not just an assessment, but a briefing of how you can do better kind of thing. I mean, how you can fix your profile kind of thing.
And then after that, the advanced, the advanced class for this will be.
Asha is saying, if I need your services, I will do my own research and make my own decision on who to go with, so you don't need to call me anymore, or something like that. That's what she said. Thank you, Asha. We love you. Mwah, for taking notes. Next, this is such a good class. You got to go for that because it's just freaking awesome. Okay. Next, and we told people not to be salesy, and I did just that. Next,
we're gonna talk about the following week, right? So we have another session. Right?
Now, for those of you guys who are afraid to be on camera, we have been listening. So this is for you guys. Now, a lot of you guys are super scared when you go on camera. You have that, that rusa masuk kampung look. kind of thing. So this is for you, Zero to Hero, Muhammad Flavor Farooq's guide to being confident, passionate, and bold on stage or on camera. So this is for you guys. No more fear. And by the way, just so you know, at 13 years old, he joined the Star Public Speaking competition, and he knew he was going to fail, but he did it anyway. And that was when he started. And today he's on the international stage with, talking about esports, moderating esports. So definitely somebody we could learn from. Okay.
So
And
definitely after that session, you'll have some flavor. That's what it is.
yeah, you will be having some flavor vibes kind of thing. And the following week, we've got Sujimi. Sujimi, if you don't know, is a Facebook influencer. Even his mother is an influencer. So if you've always wanted to be an influencer and you want to know how, that is definitely the episode for you. And if you are a company, you need to be a content creator before it's too late, whether you like it or not. You are now a media company. Okay. And so that's what's happening. So thank you so much. Please give us a like and tell us what you love, or let us know who you want us to interview in our next episodes. We've lined up all the way until September, I think. Yeah. So let us know. You know who I would like, Amien?
Who?
Anka Raja. I would love to interview Anka Raja and ask him his secret flight lice recipe,
Possible, huh? See how it goes. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
masuk kampung. All right. Thank you so much, guys. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you had fun. Let us know. Give us a like and follow us on all our social media, okay? Because I'm still C.
Okay. All right. And with that, have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next week on Monday for the class, okay? The seats are limited already, right? Better sign up, okay?
I think there's only about 30 more seats left. So
yeah, 30. And we're probably going to limit it because we didn't pay for the higher, more expensive license.
There's 100 seat, but we already have about 70 people signing up. So
yeah, so guys, 30. So do it if you're thinking about it. Okay. Okay, bye.
Right.
Love ya.
Bye.
That was